Hello there and welcome back to the channel, and a bit of a different video this week since we finished the Resident Evil 8 last week. And I think yesterday I reached 100 well, it's 101 now. I broke the 100 subscriber mark. First of all, thank you very much for everyone who's subscribed so far. You're all fucking amazing. I love you all, and I hope you enjoy your time with us. Starting to get a little bit of a community going, which I like. I like that. Anywho, we're going to do something a little bit different this week, because we finished Resident Evil 8, finished the main story. So after I finished recording the last episode, started having a bit of a flick through like the extra stuff you get, like all the bonus stuff. I thought might be nice just to have a little bit of a more casual kind of video and have a look at some of the concept art. There's two lots of concept art. There is the concept art for Resident Evil 8, but there's also concept art for the series, not series as a whole, but 7 and 8, like the second trilogy, I think it's going to be. So I'm kind of intrigued in that one as well. But I don't know if you want to watch, because we haven't played 7 on the channel. So I don't know if you want to see, because obviously the Tragedy of Ethan Winters, that covers both 7 and 8, so you'll see some of 7 stuff, which might be spoilerific if you haven't seen it yet. I don't know if you want us to do it on the channel anyway on 7. I might as well though. Me as well. In the grand scheme of doing everything out of order, because we started with 3, then we went to 2, then we went to 8, then we're possibly going to 7, and then we've also got 1 to do as well. Maybe 0, maybe Resident Evil 0. Because I enjoyed that one actually. A bit strange, but I enjoyed Resident Evil 0 as well. Anyway, besides the point. We're going to be jumping in, we're going to have a look at some of the concept art. Have a little bit of a look. See what things could have liked, see if we can glean some information from the devs, because obviously they usually add notes in. So, we're going to do that now. Enjoy, guys. Enjoy it. Have a nice little relaxing conversation. Also, with having 101, feel free on this one to just ask questions in general. You can ask questions just like kind of an ask me anything kind of deal in the comment section, and if I get enough of them down below on this one, I may do a specific one like answering the questions, answering my favorite questions. Maybe answer them all, depends on how many I get. I'll answer as many of them as I can, regardless. Anyway, I'm gonna flip over. I'm gonna flip to the big screen. You're gonna get little me in the corner and a big screen on the screen. I'm gonna flip. Enjoy, guys. Enjoy. Right, I've moved myself a little bit further down, just because I think the little ones, there's little blurb things in the bottom left-hand corner. So you can see at least, I think I still cut off some of it. I'm not entirely sure. We'll find out when I go in. We also have, sorry, another tangent. We've got the movies as well. Now in the movies menu, we've got like the like documentary kind of movies. So I don't know if you want us to do those. I don't know how we'd do those without getting copyrighted. Because obviously it'd just be me and thingy. I don't know. I've never done a reaction to stuff before. If you know how, do let me know. Obviously, I probably will work it out at some point. But for the interest of this one, we're going to look at the concept art, not the videos. We may do that at some other point. I'm going to start obviously with the Resident Evil 8 concept art. I unlocked most of it with the points I had left. But I think I need to play it again a little bit to get some more points to finish off the concept art. So let's have a look here. What's this one? Right, so it's still don't see Ethan's face. Let's just display the hood on that one. Oh, I display the hood just takes off everything. Alright, so we can't even look at the... We're gonna have to leave that on. See what I mean about being more casual? A bit more casual. Alright, so this is obviously Rose, Mia, and Ethan. No face for Ethan. He's carrying a revolver though. The art director. Concept art for the Winters. The original idea was to have Mia in a wheelchair due to the events of the previous game. Kind of makes sense. Because she was kind of injured at the end of the first one. That's interesting. Thanks. There's good old Rosemary grown up. Quite a striking young lady. Ethan must have been a real looker. Ethan must have been a looker. Concept art for grown-up version of Rosemary Winters. She's wearing Ethan's jacket, which he wrapped her in when she was a baby, including a shotgun and a bloody jacket as well. Just what you love, just what you want. I don't think that's the one they were talking about though. I think it's the one on the right hand, the far right. The one without a hat. She's a striking young lady. Right, so next we've got Chris Redfield. Good old Chris. Chris, my boy. You've changed over the years. You're not as bulky as you used to be as you were in Resident Evil 6. But damn it, Chris, I love you. On the OG. Few designs for Chris Redfield. Initial drafts of the story had him visit the Winterses dressed in civilian clothes. That would have been cool, actually. On a side note, I know I'm going to hop on this again. I said it at the end of the last video. I really hope that the next game teams up Chris, Jill, Barry. Maybe add in, I would accept that. Maybe add in Leon and Claire as well, the core team. It's been a long time since we had a game with the whole core team together again. And I really wish they would team up. They would do a team up thing, even if it's just for like a DLC or something like cool. I would love a whole game, but I know it's not going to happen. So I think we're going to be going on with Rosemary. I think, or maybe playing as Chris with Rosemary being a teammate. Who knows? We'll have to wait to find out for that one. Second page on this one. The Houndwolf squad call him Alpha. The Mia that Chris shot was actually Miranda in disguise. When he loses Rose to her, he calls on his task force, the Houndwolves, for backup. Look at my boy. Oh, and speak of the devil, he's the Houndwolf squad. This is the first time Chris's elite squad makes an appearance in the Resident Evil universe. They were created to hunt the Lycans and as such were named Houndwolf Squad. Also, it's a special team just for this mission. From left to right, Umber Eyes, a veteran sniper. He's pretty damn good. He was a good sniper in the end there. K9, a young dog handler. No dog though. Wonder why a dog handler? Only because they're dealing with Lycans. Interesting choice, a young dog handler. Lobo, machine gunner. Damn right. Night Owl, communications. And Tundra, former undercover agent for the DEA. She's kind of cool on the far right. Is that Umbra? Tundra. So I'm wondering who's the one who was sending down the big explosions. Kind of wondering who that was. I don't remember if it said. Right, next, random villages. I remember all these people. A poor guy on the far right, he got Julian. He got totally fucking just destroyed. Couldn't even find his body. Couldn't even find his freaking body. Right, character designs for the villagers that seek refuge in Louisa's house. From left to right, Leonardo, Elena's father. Obviously Elena, Louisa, and Julian. Design for the village was based on a mixture of gothic and modern imagery. Outfits and hair from the 1960s was also used as inspiration. Did kind of feel like a bit out of town, like not out of town, not less modern than you would expect. What we've got next? Also got to be villagers too. The character designs for the other villagers Ethan meets at Louise's house. From left to right, Sebastian, poor injured guy, with a charm as well. Anton is a bit of a dick. Anton reminded us of that guy in the Resident Evil 3. The one who drops himself in the storage container. I don't know why. Roxana and the hag. And the hag, that I'm wondering, it was the hag freaking Miranda the whole time. Roxana, I'd never even heard of her. I think I saw her, she was in the house, but I don't remember seeing anything. We're getting interested about the Duke as well. Designed for the merchant, the Duke. He was originally going to make his entrance with a runaway carriage and his horses running wild, but this was axed during development. Would have been interesting to see that, nearly been run over by a carriage with the Duke in it. I am wondering who the frick the Duke is, and why he's so big, and two, like giant big, and two, why or how he managed to teleports into various spots across the place, somewhere where you wouldn't really expect. Very bizarre. It's a bizarre kind of thing. He was a very interesting character. Ooh, parasite Cadu. Like a little fucking baby parasite, like an embryo with tentacles. Just what you want from a tentacle baby. These parasites are key to the story of village and are used in a design for the village symbol, combined with 4 wings which represent the 4 lords. So what about 6 wing? The golden ring symbolizes the sun, space, as well as eternity. Sun, space, and eternity with the ring. This suggests that the sun, soul, and everything that encompasses them do not have an end. Interesting theory, actually. The parasite in the centre is an ominous image which links the whole story back to Rose. Big, good old baby. I wonder how, like, Rose is actually going to come into play in the next one. I'm speaking like the next one's an actually surefire thing, which I think it is. I genuinely think it is, because this one did quite well. See that fucking baby doll in the top right hand corner. Still don't like it. The remains left when enemies are defeated were designed to look like ornaments. When the creatures perish, their cells turn into crystal. To be fair though, all of them are very fucking cool. Just turn on it for a second. They're actually really cool ornaments. And I would be very surprised if some enterprising young individual didn't make some of these as statues. Because you could do the crystal thing with resin and do everything out of resin, 3D printed or whatever. Lady Dimitrescu is probably going to be the most popular. As gruesome as they are really actually cool, and I think there'll be a market for them as ornaments. Especially some more than others. The heart will be interesting to see. That's really cool. I do like that. See, I love concept art. I always wanted to be a concept artist when I was a kid, among other things. Bit of concept art. I loved the idea of having some piece of art that I drew inspire someone to make something cool out of it. The other thing I wanted to be actually more than anything was an adventurer, but I cannot swim, and I fear the ocean. I cannot swim, so I figured that would probably hinder me. That would hinder me adventures, because I think it's kind of a necessary skill. I would say it's a necessary skill. Anyway, getting sidetracked here. The crest is the 4 lords of the village. The Dimitrescu crest is a flower with 2 swords. So remember that. A symbol of feminine power. Is it? I didn't know that. You can also see a cross in the center, which is associated with vampires. It's very cool. Next to Beneviento. My favourite place in the game, to be fair. Favourite area of the game, that one, to Beneviento. That was a really good like place. Really good episode. A fucking baby though. Jesus. Still haunts us. The Beneviento crest is a moon and sun, symbols of fantasy and reality, as well as the dark of Donna and the bright white of Angie. Mermaid. He kind of was a mermaid, wasn't he? Rose is a mermaid, although we wanted to create a very stark difference, I'm going to say difference instead of different, between the beautiful fish lady and the creepy fish man. Fish man creature. And then last, Heisenberg. Heisenberg's crest is a horse and horseshoe, implying he's a strong, sturdy man. The horse was also based on the chess piece, the knight. Initial designs had each crest with their own book. I remember seeing the books obviously were in the last. They're in the last episode, in that her cave thing, her lab. In the center of the four crests is a symbol of crow feathers that looks like a lot like an umbrella. Basically, the umbrella logo. It's apparently where he stole it from. Oh yeah, good old lichen. This is the basic design for the lichens. The concept behind them was primitive zombies, which was used to create a wild wolfman-looking creature. Fair, I do actually prefer. I liked the enemies in this game more than 7. 7 were kind of all the same. I mean, there was a lot of lichens, and they all had. Each area had its own like key enemy. But I like the variation. The variation was quite cool. And I also got lichen variations. Never saw a lichen on a fucking horseback. Jesus, that would have been terrifying. We had a number of designs for the lichens, most variety than any enemy in the series so far. Actually, to be fair, there was a lot of different versions. Thankfully, we never saw the horse one because I wouldn't want to shoot a horse. I'm going to completely butcher this name. Verkalak? Maybe? Ferocious creature derived from a lichen, you can no longer see where its human hair ends and its animal fur begins. Oh, those were the ones that were stalking, like the one that jump scared us in that perfect timing moment. Apparently you can kill them. I never bothered. Never bothered trying to kill one. Kind of didn't want to waste the ammo, although I should really. I think there's a trophy attached to it. Anywho, ferocious creature derived from a lichen, you can no longer see where its human hair ends and animal fur begins. Fur in its human body has also turned white. So it's an old lichen. Oh, it's Urias. He was an interesting that because he hadn't turned full on lichen. Like he hadn't turned full on wolf person. He still shows a bit of humanity. Urias is the lichen's boss. He used to be the leader of the village, now he's just a shadow of his former self. Uriah Straher is his older brother. I don't know who that is. We're supposed to know who that is. There we go. The meme lady herself. People love her. She was a cool character. Don't really get the full love for her. Like everyone's thirsting over her. She's nice. But yeah, could take her or leave her. I wouldn't say no though. I wouldn't say no. Should probably kill us though. It might be worth it. So similar to the villagers, her hair and clothes are based on 1960s New Look fashion. Okay, her design is based on, I've just pre-read that there. Design is based on the Japanese yokai Hashaku-sama. I apologise for butchering that entirely. I've got no doubt that's not the right way to say that. Literal, I'm going to say that's lit. Lit means literal. Literal 8-foot lady. Dimitrescu was also designed to be a vampire. She has 3 black roses close to her heart, which each represent her 3 daughters. She got mightily pissed off when I killed her daughters, though. I will say she got mightily pissed off. And Dimitrescu's daughters. They could get it as well, in a horrifying way, probably. From left to right, Bella, Cassandra, and Daniela. They each have a flower tattoo on their foreheads. I didn't actually know. I never actually noticed a flower tattoo. That's interesting. See, it's stuff like this where you find the information, like what's going on behind the scenes. Because when you're playing the game, you're just kind of going all full on, like full in. Moraisa. Again, completely butchered it. It's the accents, I don't quite know what the accents are. The female enemies from the castle dungeons. Dimitrescu drains men of their blood and turns women into creatures to be her slaves. Fun times. In fact, it might be hard to see in game, but all the enemies in the castle are female slaves. I didn't notice that, but it kind of makes sense. Which is a bit of a man-eater, is Dimitrescu. In more ways than one. Oh, they're the flying things. Well, they were women as well. Alright. I thought they were the men. I thought they might have been men that should drained. That's interesting. Samka. The flying enemies that appear on the castle roof, just like the Moroika. Just gonna roll with it. These two were once women who were turned into slaves. They use their long tongues to drink blood. And they have no eyes anymore. Less tongue. A tongue game must be strong. Mutated Dimitrescu. Funny enough, sorry, random tangent. I actually saw someone attempt a cosplay in Final Fantasy XIV of this. It's an interesting thing because there's a mount that kind of looks similar to that. Basically, big ass, kind of like 4-legged creature. No tongue though. Had different head, and then obviously the lady was dressed in all in white. And the female character was dressed all in white on the back. Kind of the pair of them together made it it looked kind of cool. It was well done. Not perfect, obviously. You could never get perfect. But it was well done. Dracula, a motif for Dimitrescu, also means child of dragon. So, actually, that's cool. I never knew that. So, went for a dragon vampire design. Used her key colours of white, red, and black, combined with key elements found in traditional Resident Evil monster designs. The scales are actually her cells clumping together. Each of the boss transformations is a larger version of themselves, which for Alcina meant an unusually massive vampire with gigantic fangs. Just what you want. Oh, is that the... Oh, it's not 3D model. I was going to say it looked like a 3D model there for a second. Oh, we also designed the way her human body is stored in her back. Oh, so she leans back. Let's turn that off so we can see it. So she kind of leans back and gets enveloped in something that looks incredibly feminine. I'm not even going to say the word. You can probably piece it together yourself. That's her disappearing into something that looks incredibly, incredibly feminine. We're just going to gloss over that. Just gloss over it. Also, Dimitrescu's and large cells grow like hair tendrils thanks to the parasite's influence. So that's all those tentacle things at the back, kind of like hair. Oh, oh, lovely. Oh, Donna Beneviento and Angie. Hello, Angie. That Angie in the middle is quite fucking big. Shut that mouth, girl. Shut that mouth. The puppeteer Donna and her doll Angie. Donna is dressed in black mourning clothes, while Angie is dressed in a wedding dress with flowers, each representing death and life. She's my favourite. That was my favourite part of the game still. Angie's face is based on the same sun and moon motif on the Beneviento crest. Actually, I never noticed that. See that there? Use my mouse for that one. That one's cool. The dark. The moon shape, and then the sun shape right there. It's usually like the round sun, and then you've got the crescent moon, the classic crescent moon shape. That is fucking cool. It's stuff like this that you don't get in the main game because you're too focused on not dying and cool shit. You get all the cool information on this one. I love it. Should do this more often. Donna's face is also based on the same crest symbol, the scarred part of her face caused by the parasite. Her base concept is that she's a ghost. Kind of felt like a ghost, because she was invisible. Until Angie died. Oh yay, more dolls. More dolls, fantastic. The Beneviento family dolls, which Donna made. Okay, so we can just gloss over this one. Angie's the best one though. Oh, there we go. There's a lovely baby that we saw. Oh, this is the first one which actually has Japanese. Okay, so what we got on the baby? What have we got on the baby? Baby is a 2 to 3 minute old girl who's 5'10" tall and 7'7" long. Okay, 2 to 3 minute old. She was created from the doll of Mia. Her umbilical cord drags behind her. She crawls and she calls Ethan Dada. Still fucking terrifying, even now. She can open her left eye with effort, and will put anything in her mouth. If she finds what she's looking for, she'll instantly eat it. She dribbles a lot and has no teeth, but her hands and feet look like a real baby's. I saw that when I was hiding under the bed. Still fucking horrifying. Just looking at the concept art still sends shivers down my spine. Let's just move on. Oh, hello, Moreau. I liked Moreau as well. Moreau made a crown for himself out of the bones of the villagers. He's also the most corroded by the parasite than any other lord. I think Moreau's my second favourite spot. Probably one of my favourite boss fights. Just in that whole area was kind of cool. The concept behind his design is that he's half fish, half man, and we used a number of creepy sea creature parts while also conveying a very Resident Evil series style monster. Very true. It was very cool. He was very cool looking. But unlike most other transformed creatures in the series, he still understands and can speak human speech, a rare monster that can communicate. His brain is swollen into his back, which has also sprouted eyeballs. His design was also based on the Japanese river yokai Kappa. That's interesting. I like the Japanese yokai are quite cool. If you ever get a chance, look some of the yokai up. They're kind of cool. I liked Moreau. One of the Kadoos in the hump at the back, right behind his neck. I like that. Ooh. See, I'm going to gush on this as well. It's like so interesting. I find game concept really friggin' interesting. Now, there's a mutated Moreau. Moreau's mutated form looks a lot more like an aquatic creature. As each of the boss fights are giant versions of themselves, Moreau is a massive mer creature covered with frog spawn looking eyes. He uses his large arms and legs as well as his giant fish-like body to swim. He did kind of look like a bullfrog at some point as well, when he wasn't fully submerged in water. I don't know whether it was just me not seeing him correctly. Mutated Moreau in detail. This piece was used to visualize Moreau's acid vomit attacks as well as his humanoid body inside the mouth of this monstrous body. Chunky boy he was a chunky boy. We tried to convey his creepy aquatic nature in each movement in each attack. So it's the little body inside, the little man inside that pukes up all that gunk. Heisenberg himself, the man, the myth, the legend. Heisenberg's main concept is based on Frankenstein. We wanted to create a cool grey-haired character who was a little rough around the edges. He smokes his favourite Cuban cigars. And there's a mutated Heisenberg. We'll go for this one. I enjoyed that fight as well. It was an interesting fight. It's strange, but it was interesting. We went for a look that was opposite of his human form, a giant mechanical monster. His design based on the idea that he uses scrap left scattered around the factory. He owns weapons from tanks and planes and has mountains of scrap for his mass-produced experiments. Mutated Heisenberg in detail. The original design was based on the splendid Royal Moth Caterpillar. Really? Or original design. We want him to look like he moved on treads and be faster than any other boss monster. I mean, it would have been interesting to see. And that 3D model on the right is kind of cool. Chunky boy. Another chunky boy. Soldat 1. We called these enemies Drill Man for a long time during development because one arm was replaced with a drill. The idea for these enemies is that they have a reactor inside the chest with a parasite inside that acts like an internal combustion engine. The goggles are units that Heisenberg uses to control them, so that was a direct control from him, from Heisenberg. And there's Wapanza dudes. We consciously created the enemies in the factory to be different so it didn't just terrify players but also created a strong sense of anticipation. They did a quite fucking good job, to be fair. They did a good job. This design was based on Western medieval armour and helmets. To be fair, you wouldn't want that coming walking at you. At any point in time, you would not want that coming walking at you. That just looks like a bad day. Every fucking day of the week. These will look even worse. So the jet ones. We were really attached to the name Jet Drill during development. They use jets on their backs and the heads look like fighter planes. This design is similar to the horseshoe crab. See, it's the idea. The fact that they take a horseshoe crab will make something based off the horseshoe crab. We designed the front and back with different amounts of detail so the back would be particularly shocking. I don't get that. Moving on. Or fucking Sturm as well. He was interesting. He's actually apparently quite controversial from what I remember. I don't know whether that's being dealt with actually. But some designer came for filed a lawsuit for Capcom, the Resident Evil team, because of this concept. Basically, apparently there was a character in another game or another media that's basically been plagiarized. I don't know what's actually come across that. I might want to look that one up. Yes, so Sturm. The propeller on his head is made from three chainsaw blades, as you do. He chopped his own arms off when they got in the way of the spinning blades, so he's not exactly the brightest spark. Who needs arms anyway? There was one plan to have Sturm be Heisenberg's real father, and during development to be called Propeller Man. Really interesting. Does the planet have him as Heisenberg's father? Real father? I wonder how that would have played out. That would have been interesting. It would have been an interesting dynamic. That, because Heisenberg did this to him. That would have been an interesting conversation. Uriah Strayer. The parasite manifested differently in this creature compared to most lichens. I remember the parasite thing on his back. We create him as a god of the Megamycete. His final version wields a giant mace rather than a hammer. Urias is his younger brother. So they're both called the same. Urias. So obviously if he's his younger brother, a guy earlier on, they were both called the same thing. Strange. Strange things have happened though. Oh, there's Miranda herself. She's got a very... Her on the right there. She's got a very Cara Delevingne kind of look. I can imagine Cara Delevingne playing this character quite well in a film. I think she'd pull it off quite well. Good old Mother Miranda. Mother Miranda's design is based on the concept of a crow queen. She's a religious leader who is after Rose and has the ability to mimic anyone or anything, which is quite fucking terrifying. The wings on her back are made from mold, so she has complete control over them. Her dress is old and worn, showing that she has ruled the village for a very, very long time. As the root of all evil in this game, you can see her likeness in the talisman used for the village. You can also see the crests of the four lords in her soul. Stole? The stole, I don't even know what the stole is. What's the stole? I'm going to guess it's either the bandana thing around her neck or it's the thing at the back of her head. One of the two. Oh, you can see the crests of the four lords in her stole, further evidence of her rule. Oh, love the mutated Miranda. Don't fucking love that one. I remember that one. I remember seeing her up close and personal. The mold inside her body is overflowed, and her mouth and skin are starting to crack. She's losing her temper. She lost her temper quite badly. Her golden halo is now larger and more solid and is growing out of her spine. Of course it is. She has lived for a very long time and her age is finally showing. No comment on that one. We did something about cougars there. Could be a comment made about cougars. We didn't want the fight with Miranda to be like an event, but a challenging boss fight. It was actually quite challenging. So we went with a design where her human facade is still intact. She did change around though somewhat. Mutated Miranda, flying form. The big ass wings. Miranda used a network of mold to access the genetic makeup of various living creatures that are stored in the Megamycete. She uses these to transform during battle. She had a couple of forms. Mutated Miranda, spider form. Miranda's giant spider-looking form. It was a really cool concept for a fight because she had different stages. Obviously she had winged form, she had spider form. And there was another form that she had and I can't remember what it was. Crab form? No, not crab. Spider, winged. And there was something else. I can't remember which one it is now. I don't think I've got the concept out for it. The picture book. Concept for the picture book was based on pop-up books and Shigeru-e Japanese torn paper pictures. I do quite like them, they're quite cool. I'm surprised someone hasn't made this as well. I bet you someone out in the world has handcrafted one of these books. That would be something to look forward to as well. That would be a good fit for a collection. The key colours for Village are antique gold, metal black, and snow white. All of these were used in the picture book. Picture book 2. It was a cool animation for the booker. Concept art for the family in the picture. The book were, of course, based on Ethan, Mia, and Rose. The girl's hair colour matches grown-up Rose's hair in the final version. The blonde hair. Picture book 3. The village and bats. Concept art for the Bat Lord in the picture book. The white of its fur was based on Dimitrescu, and the 3 black bats are based on her daughters. I thought it was. You know, you probably heard us in the last thing. So when I came to the realization when they were showing the book at the end that all the enemies in the book were actually the lords, the 4 lords. Bats being Dimitrescu, vampire bats. White bat, Dimitrescu, 3 black bats, daughters. I'm glad I was right. The vampire bat imagery is a hint that this is a connection to Dracula. Picture book 4. So we've got 2 on this one. So we've got both the fish and the reaper. And again, I'm glad. I love it when I'm proved right. Well, I love it when my theories are correct. The designs for the Fish King and Dark Weaver are based on Moreau and Benevento, respectively. Picture book 5. Concept art for the Iron Seed and Witch are, of course, based on Heisenberg and Miranda. It was Heisenberg that got us with the. That's actually, it was Moreau. The fish reminded us of Moreau. And that during the end credit thing. And that kind of pushes then obviously confirmed it with Heisenberg being the horse. Obviously Witch being Miranda. The scene of the book where the girl is taken under a full moon is the same as the game's story. I never knew it was a full moon. And picture book 6. Concept art for when the girl and her mother go into the forest in the picture book. Number 7. Concept art for when the girl gets lost in the forest in the picture book. So these seem to be just father and mother going to the forest to save their daughter. Concept art the father fighting the witch and the mother escaping with the daughter. Obviously that's same as the story. Concept art for the prologue of Village where Mia's reading a picture book to Rose. Fucking dark. That's a very dark image, actually. Concept art for the prologue of Village where Chris shoots Mia and takes Rose. It's quite fucking dark. It was a dark start to the game, actually. Concept art for the prologue of Village where Chris takes Rose. This was created and used as key visualization for the team during development so they could get an idea of Ethan's perspective on events. I mean, it's really gonna, like, push you over the edge to try and fucking get hold of the rescue his daughter. Fight with the lichens. Looks like a bolt action rifle there. Development of Village was a lot of trial and error, but it was always going to be a survival horror game. This was how lichens were created. View of the village. See, that's kind of like, that's a really cool like background image. I'm actually trying to find that for a screensaver for a Disney desktop wallpaper. I've currently got, on random tangent, I've currently got a lovely picture that my sister made us, which is Lady Maria from Bloodborne. Very cool picture. View of the mountains towering over the village below. This was drawn on the first day of development. We want to create an impact different from the horror of being trapped in a house like in Resident Evil 7. We used the tall, overbearing mountains to give this game an isolated, haunted village feel. They did a very good job of the village. A cabin in the woods. A creepy-ass man outside with an axe. This concept art of a cabin was created to demonstrate to the entire team the level of rendering quality we were going for in this game. They did well. They did a good job. It was fucking beautiful. The game was beautiful. Large windmill over ground. Can't see much about that one. The gate connecting the village to Castle Dimitrescu. The relief of the gate shows a young maiden saving the village from a terrible demon long ago. I wonder if you'd ever find that story out. Concept art for the fields leading up to Louise's house. Pardon me. Scarecrow is nothing special, but there are a number of bone constructs erected to ward off evil. Well, I get the feeling it didn't work. The bone construct to ward off evil did not work. So don't do that. That looks like a creepy one. See that woman in the middle there? This one. That freaking creepy ass. Looking like a mask. Surviving villagers who have escaped the Lycan attack huddled together. That's another cool one that would be good. Good fucking wallpaper. The Lycans are savage wild beasts, but we also wanted to convey that they are pack creatures. Makes sense with them being wolf-based. Getting the right balance of intelligence and nature in this image, as well as in-game, was one of the biggest challenges. We'd like them to have done teamwork a bit better. Can't have everything. The concept art for Ethan's trial. Miranda and the Lords began to use this space for trials in the past to pass judgment on heretics. From left to right, Dimitrescu, big ass chunky woman, Donna, Miranda, Moreau, and Heisenberg. Their positions and mannerisms reflect their status and personalities. Moreau, that's see Moreau there. And Miranda herself. Vineyard. Vineyard? Vineyard? I don't know why I read that. Vineyard. Vineyard. Concept art for the vineyard outside Castle Dimitrescu, which Dimitrescu uses to make her wine. You can see her daughters dragging a victim from the village into the castle. So it mixed blood into the wine, didn't she? I'm glad there's no boobies on that picture. The Castle Dimitrescu is creepy, but also decorated with alluring imagery, such as these statues. The nipple thief strikes again. Concept art for Dimitrescu's dressing room. All of her clothes are either white or red. Be interesting to see her in red. Why don't we see her in any red clothes? Ooh, lovely, the wine cellar. Chasing room under the castle where Dimitrescu's victims are drained of their blood, which she uses to make her wine. Dimitrescu looking around her wine cellar. It must suck to have to bend down all the time. As Ethan crawls through the tunnels under the castle. Room filled with the treasures and works of art. This is where the labyrinth was originally going to be located. Oh, that's a grenade launcher. See it there? The grenade in the labyrinth box. The grenade launcher. Death mask statues. On the left is one of the statues with the angel masks. The right is concept art for the iron insignia key, the same insignia on a door. And lastly, the Hall of Ablution. The room where the four statues, the lady, the lord, the servant, and the farmer stand. The lord bleeds the villagers dry of their crops. She passes to the servant who presents the final product to her lady. Very cool, very cool. I enjoyed that. It was good, kind of good. I hope you've enjoyed that one. Right, guys. So that is all of the concept art that I've got for Resident Evil 8. Nice chill video. Letting, me droning on about random shit. Hope you enjoy it. Something a bit different. If you like this style of video, I may do some more in the future. Do let me know. Something a bit more casual. Less role, less let's play. I do like a good bit of concept art for games, and talking about the getting an insight in how stuff's thought about. I do like it. I do like it. May do it again at some point if you like it. If not, I won't. It's all in your hands, guys. It's all in your hands. So anyway, thank you for hanging out with us today. It's been brilliant. I've enjoyed myself. Hope you have enjoyed this video. Thank you again for breaking the 100. It's all down to you. You're all fucking amazing, and I love you all. If this is your first video here, it is a bit out of the ordinary. It's not a normal video, as you probably, well, you may tell. If you are new here, feel free to come hang out, come check out some other stuff I've got going on. We would love to have you here. If you're not new here, thank you again from the bottom of my heart for all your support. It is always appreciated, and it's much appreciated. And you all know what's coming. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. And as always, just see you on the flip side. Bye bye.